Hi everyone, welcome to www.workingparent.info. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to be talking about Wing Chun and how Wing Chun can build discipline for children. I'm so pleased to be joined by Sifu Jude, who runs Kids Wing Chun Academy. We'll be discussing lots of elements about martial arts, in particular Wing Chun. Before we start, first tell us about Kids Wing Chun. I guess it's kind of implicit in the name, but tell us more about how long have you been running Kids Wing Chun?
Okay, thank you. It's great to be here. So Kids Wing Chun Academy is a martial arts school focused on teaching children Wing Chun. We've been running for 4 years now. I've been teaching for 5 years, because we were teaching adults. I was teaching adults before that. We're teaching the specific art of Wing Chun to children from age 4 all the way through to teenagers and beyond. I teach adults as well.
Excellent. Well, my boy's in your class, which is how we've come to know one another. So let's jump straight into it. When most parents think of martial arts, they think of self-defense, they think about all the physical benefits, but there's obviously more to it. I mean, can you kind of expand upon how martial arts, and in particular how Wing Chun, can actually develop a holistic framework for positive behaviour?
Positive behaviour. Absolutely fine. I think that with Wing Chun and martial arts, what you're really doing is you're helping your child, if we're talking children, in the areas of giving them humility, compassion, as well as the physical skills, but some of the attributes around how they should behave, how they can respect elders, how they can treat younger people and younger children. So compassion, humility, focus and perseverance are all the positive attributes that I believe you can get from a martial art.
So speaking of martial arts, where obviously you have aggressive martial arts and you have passive martial arts. For young children growing up, would a passive martial art be better than an aggressive one, or vice versa? And where in that spectrum does Wing Chun actually fit, the aggressive, passive?
Well, you're absolutely right. There are aggressive martial arts and there are passive ones. Wing Chun is a passive martial art. It was devised by a woman actually. So it has sensitivity elements that keep you calm, so you train and fight in a relaxed and calm state. So with an aggressive martial art, and some of the other martial arts, Japanese arts might be aggressive, you start to pull out some of the aggressive elements of the nature. They start to be very aggressive, very fighty, back check quite a lot, and very pent up. So you can see the difference between the different sets of children. But with Wing Chun, which is my focus, we focus on being happy, being relaxed, being calm, so that you don't change a child's nature at all. You just add the skills to defend themselves.
Can you tell us the difference between discipline and self-discipline, and which, if both, I imagine that Wing Chun can teach a young child and a teenage child through the whole spectrum of ages?
Yeah, discipline and self-discipline. Two different things, as you know. With discipline, we're talking about a child or a teenager doing as they're told, behaving, not back-chatting, for example. But with self-discipline, they're learning to control themselves, to have elements of compassion or humility, respect, perseverance. So there are two different spectrums there. One is all about the behaviour and how they become good and rounded individuals, and the other is around the drivers, I believe, and how they can drive themselves to be better individuals as they move forward through the ages.
Tell us what kind of behavioural problems that Wing Chun addresses, in particular for younger children, older children. Obviously they face different challenges. Can Wing Chun adapt to teach them the self-discipline to cope with those challenges as they progress through their ages?
Yeah, absolutely. What happens is, obviously as children get older, they go through a series of changes, as we all know.
So, yeah, basically the different types of challenges that Wing Chun addresses at different ages. Particularly for boys, I imagine, class is quite heavily male-led?
Absolutely. Boys tend to be more fighty than girls do. They tend to be more aggressive often than girls do. And I think with boys, they really need some guidance as they grow. Often that can come from parents. Fathers, for example, play a positive role with a boy as they grow up. But sometimes, if maybe a father isn't on the scene, it's very difficult for boys to understand how they should be, how they should react, especially when it comes to confrontation, for example, or defending a sibling. So with Wing Chun, with martial arts, we start to give them those tools. We start to teach them how they should react, how they can be calm, how things will affect them and not affect them, and start to take them through the kind of the discipline, self-discipline, and the moulding elements of becoming, in the case of a boy, a rounded young man, for example. And we like to start them early. With girls, they focus very, very well. So, and we have quite a high percentage of girls in the class. In some classes we have 50% boys, 50% girls. Girls tend to focus a lot. They're not as aggressive, and they really listen. So we do find that we're training slightly differently between the boys and the girls as far as what it's going to provoke in their nature.
That's absolutely great. I was going to ask, just to follow up on that question, do girls gain different benefits, like apart from the martial arts itself, do they gain different benefits in terms of self-discipline than boys gain?
It's a good question. I find that girls have quite a lot of self-discipline, in my experience, especially the younger girls, when they're talking, up to maybe 11 years old, so from 4 years old through to 11. They have a lot of focus, they have a lot of certain self-disciplines. The perseverance areas and confidence is what really helps. I think with girls, they may be intimidated by either boys or some aggressive scenarios. So with martial arts, what we're training them specifically is to feel confident around their abilities to look after themselves, and maybe younger children as well. So there are slightly different areas, I believe.
Well, thank you so much. I've learned a lot more about Wing Chun and about the discipline and teaching the benefits. Where can people learn more about Kids Wing Chun?
So you can go to our website at www.kidswingchunacademy.com. There's lots of information. There's the history of Wing Chun on the website. We have locations around the Surrey area. We're in Croydon today. But we hold classes for boys, girls, teenagers, young ones. It's all on the website.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. Come visit me at www.workingparent.info, where I've got a subscribe list as well. You'll be the first ones to hear. Share it on your social media accounts, leave some comments, ask some questions. Would it be okay if we took questions? And
Absolutely, yeah, would love to.
Excellent. So www.workingparent.info. I'll put a link to your site below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you very much.